In this next video, I'm going to be discussing 3 other new features that may not be quite as large as the previous 3 that I've gone over, but they're still certainly worth noting in their own right. The first of these are Google Maps. Instead of our previous mapping system, we have now updated all of our maps to utilize Google. This comes with all of the functionality that Google Maps normally provide, including terrain view and satellite view. So let me focus on myself with this other new little feature. This is not a Google Maps feature, but just another little enhancement that we added. You can focus on my location. So I can zoom out. I'm going to go to Salt Lake City, and I can show that under Map, I can hover over this, and I can click on Terrain, and you can see all the terrain, just like any regular Google Maps. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to switch to Satellite View now. And in Satellite View, you can utilize this to zoom in and see more details about what you're looking at instead of just the generic street view. So if I want to take a quick look and see what maybe the trees are and what the houses might look like, or what things might look like from a real perspective, I can do just that. I can turn labels on and off with that button right there. If I switch over to Map, I can utilize the last of the really important new features with Google Maps and the street view. So click and drag him and drop this guy right here on a map, and then I can see what it looks like from the street perspective. I can make this full screen if I'd like, and I can hop up and down the street, just like the regular Google Maps that you may already utilize. So I'm going to go back to regular size. The last thing I guess that I'll point out is that down here in the bottom left corner it says Google. You can feel free to click on that and open up Google in a new tab, totally full screen, and see exactly what you're seeing here. The next feature that I'm going to cover are the search field customizations. So let me go over to my incident search page. I'll leave that, don't need to save it. And now you'll see that in the upper right corner of the filters box, you'll have this gear. If I click on this gear, you'll see all the different field options that are available on this page. By default, certain field options will be hidden, so you may want to open this up and just see what options you have available for you. Right now, I have a number of different fields hidden. If I turn them all on, or a good chunk of them on, you can see that fields come into focus, and I can start to utilize them to search on. If I'd like, I can hide as many as I want, or I can customize my fields so that I don't need to see ones that I'm never going to use. This is a per user setting, so it'll be something that each of your officers will be able to utilize on their own as long as they're using their same browser. So if they, for example, want to only have 2 or 3 fields on this incident search page, they can limit the number of fields with this, and then when they come back to the search page every single time, it'll be limited to just those couple fields. This is very similar to the gear down here in the results section, which hides and shows different columns that you may already be familiar with. So the biggest reason that we added this gear in the filters section is because we added some new search fields, and the search fields were getting a little bit cumbersome and overwhelming. So I'm going to quickly kind of go over some of the different search fields that we added for you. The first one that I've already mentioned are the address and the city and the state on a handful of pages. On the names, businesses, calls for service, call history, incident, traffic stops, and arrests. I think I got them all there. So in addition to those fields, we added an area search field to call history. We added agency to call for service. We added agency and local ID number to incidents. We added agency to traffic stop. And we added arrestee sex, age, race, and ethnicity to the arrest search page. The third of these smaller new features that I wanted to discuss today is the ability to change your CAD unit type names. So if I go under dispatch and go to units, you'll see that the type dropdown contains by default law, fire, EMS, and MISC. That's how the software has been for the last handful of releases, and that's probably what you're used to. You'll also see those same unit types reflected on the dispatch page. So under CAD dispatch, you'll see the active units, law, fire, EMS, and MISC, and also the same under inactive units. With this new Omelette release, you're able to change these unit types to be a name more to your liking. So if you go under Admin, scroll down to App Settings and CAD Settings, click on that, you'll see the new Unit Types section. Each of these unit types has 3 different columns in it that I'm going to discuss in just a minute. If you hover over the question mark, you can get a little more information about it. But the main thing you want to do here is press the Edit pencil here. So you'll see that you can now edit the unit type name. So let's change law to patrol. And one thing to keep in mind here is that you're limited to 6 characters in this type field. So, for example, you can't do something like officer because that's 7 characters, and you're just going to be limited to 6. I found that I can usually find a way around to say what I want to say with just 6 characters, but just keep that in mind. You'll also see these columns here for Create CFS and Create TS. Now, by default, what happens is your law units are the ones that are creating a call for service and creating a traffic stop when they're dispatched to calls. So say, for example, you're creating a traffic stop call and you dispatch a law unit to it, a traffic stop record is going to be created. However, if you dispatch, for example, a fire unit to the traffic stop, it's not going to be creating a traffic stop for it, a traffic stop record, that is. So if I save this, so I can save my new patrol type, I can edit my fire type and say, you know what, I want my fire type to actually create a traffic stop if they're dispatched to a traffic stop. So I can click this checkbox and I can save this. So now anytime that I want to dispatch a fire unit to a traffic stop record is going to be created that I can then fill in more details and continue along the process with that. You'll also see this active column right here. What active means is it's just going to say whether or not that particular unit type is displayed on the CAD dispatch screen. It's not going to allow you to inactivate any unit type that is currently dispatched or is currently an active unit, so keep that in mind. For our purposes, I should be able to deactivate the MISC right here and save that. So now Patrol can create call for service, traffic stop, and is active. Fire can create a traffic stop and is active. EMS will not create anything, but it is active. And MISC unit types, you shouldn't see them at all. Now to showcase these, I need to actually log out and back into the software. And then when I go to units, you can see that all my existing units were updated to type patrol when necessary, and my new type dropdown contains patrol, fire, EMS, and then lists the inactive one as well. That's more in case you want to search for any units that are MISC that you may have inactivated now, but you had them in the past. If I go over to Dispatch CAD, down the dispatch page, you'll see that my active units and inactive units list has actually updated to fit my new requirements. So under inactive, you'll see patrol and fire and EMS, and you'll see the same with active as well, except you'll also see the All tab. So that's a new little feature that we have here, in that right now I have a fire unit and an EMS unit, but if I want to see all of them together, I can just click on all and see what each of them are doing. That's really all there is for this feature. It's pretty simple and straightforward, but I think it is going to add a lot of value to you. Thanks for watching.